Hello and welcome to another episode of the International News Wrap, your premier destination for global updates brought to you exclusively by One India. In today's segment, we present a diverse array of stories ranging from Netanyahu vowing to invade Rafah with or without a ceasefire deal to the mass stabbing incident at Hainault Tube Station in London. Join us as we delve into the day's most significant international developments, ensuring you stay abreast of the latest events unfolding worldwide. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowed on Tuesday to initiate an incursion into the southern Gaza city of Rafah, where hundreds of thousands of Palestinians have sought refuge during the nearly 7-month-long conflict. His statement comes amid ongoing ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas, which seems to be progressing. Netanyahu's announcement preceded the arrival of US Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Israel to further discussions on the ceasefire, which represents one of the most substantial negotiation rounds between Israel and Hamas since the conflict's onset. The proposed agreement aims to secure the release of hostages, provide relief to the affected population, and prevent an Israeli offensive in Rafah, thus minimizing civilian casualties. Addressing a gathering of bereaved families and an organization representing hostages' families held by the militants, Netanyahu declared Israel's intention to enter Rafah and dismantle Hamas battalions, regardless of the outcome of ceasefire negotiations. This stance underscores pressure faced by Netanyahu from his nationalist coalition partners who advocate for decisive action against Hamas. Despite domestic pressure, Netanyahu faces international warnings, including from Israel's key ally, the United States, against any offensive that jeopardizes civilian lives, given that over half of Gaza's population seeks refuge in Rafah. It remains uncertain whether Netanyahu's statement aims to assuage his coalition partners or will impact emerging ceasefire negotiations with Hamas. On Tuesday, Russia announced that its air defense systems had intercepted and shot down 6 Army tactical missile systems, that is ATACMS, launched by Ukraine in the past 24 hours. These long-range missiles were covertly supplied to Kyiv by Washington as part of a $300 million military aid package approved by US President Joe Biden on March 12, according to a US official last week. The decision to send ATACMS missiles with a range of up to 300 km had been the subject of debate within the Biden administration for months. Last September, mid-range ATACMS were already provided to Ukraine. The Russian Defense Ministry did not specify the location of the missile interceptions. 10 Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicles, 6 ATACMS tactical missiles manufactured by the US, and 2 guided Hammer aircraft bombs manufactured by France were shot down by air defenses, stated the ministry. Sergei Aksyonov, the Russian-backed head of Crimea, claimed that the ATACMS missiles were shot down over the peninsula, which was annexed by Russia in 2014. He shared a photo on Telegram showing what he described as undetonated submunitions of ATACMS missiles without specifying the number of missiles downed. The hush money criminal trial involving former United States President Donald Trump is slated to resume in New York on Tuesday, featuring testimony from a banker knowledgeable about accounts linked to Trump's alleged efforts to influence the 2016 election by concealing a sex scandal. Trump, who is running as a Republican candidate in the 2024 presidential election, faces charges of falsifying business records to hide a $130,000 payment to porn star Stormy Daniels, also known as Stephanie Clifford, in exchange for her silence regarding a purported sexual encounter with Trump in 2006. Maintaining his innocence, Trump denies any involvement in the alleged affair with Daniels. The ongoing trial, which commenced on April 22, marks a historic moment as it is the first criminal trial of a former US president. Banker Gary Farrow, who is not implicated in any wrongdoing, provided testimony on Friday regarding financial records associated with Trump's former lawyer and fixer, Michael Cohen, who prosecutors allege facilitated the payment scheme. Despite his legal obligations to attend the trial, Trump has indicated he may prioritize campaigning for his rematch against Democratic President Joe Biden in the upcoming November 5 election. The criminal case is just one of the 4 pending against Trump, although it may be the only one to proceed to trial and yield a verdict before the election. Testimony from former National Enquirer publisher David Pecker, a close associate of Trump, revealed the tabloid's role in suppressing negative stories about Trump and maligning his opponents leading up to the 2016 election. Pecker disclosed the Enquirer's practice of acquiring exclusive rights to damaging celebrity stories with no intention of publication, a tactic commonly known as catch and kill. Further testimony is anticipated from Stormy Daniels and former Playboy model Karen McDougal, both of whom alleged receiving hush money payments from Trump to conceal extramarital affairs. Trump has vehemently denied the allegations. Additionally, Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen, who has become a vocal critic of the former president, is expected to testify, having previously claimed that Trump directed and reimbursed him for the payments to Daniels and McDougal. On Tuesday, Indonesia's Ruang volcano erupted, ejecting lava accompanied by flashes of lightning illuminating its crater. The eruption prompted authorities to raise the alert status and evacuate over 12,000 residents from a nearby island. The Center for Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation cautioned residents of Tagulandang Island about the potential for a tsunami triggered by volcanic material collapsing into the ocean. This warning, issued on Tuesday morning, remained in effect throughout the afternoon. Following the eruption in the early hours of the morning, the PVMBG elevated Ruang's alert status to the highest level, advising residents to steer clear of the volcano. Indonesia's Disaster Mitigation Agency reported the relocation of all 843 residents from Ruang Island, where the volcano is situated, to Manado, the capital of North Sulawesi province. Meanwhile, residents of Tagulandang Island were being moved to Siau Island to the north. This eruption comes after a series of eruptions earlier in the month, which necessitated the evacuation of hundreds and the closure of Manado's airport. Those eruptions also inflicted damage on some homes, prompting warnings from volcanologists about potential tsunamis. Footage shared by Indonesia's disaster agency captured lightning strikes above Ruang's crater, while fiery red clouds of lava and rocks were ejected into the air and descended upon the island. According to the volcanology agency, the eruption column soared to 5 kilometers high. Authorities urged remaining residents within a 7-kilometer radius to evacuate immediately, citing the potential for further explosive eruptions. Ruang Island is situated approximately 100 kilometers from Manado, the capital of North Sulawesi province, in the north-central region of the vast Indonesian archipelago. The eruption coincided with heightened seismic activity and deep volcanic earthquakes, as reported by the disaster agency. On Tuesday, authorities apprehended a 36-year-old man in northeast London following a series of stabbings involving both civilians and police personnel. Initial reports indicate that the man initially crashed his vehicle into a residence on Thullo Gardens before proceeding to assault multiple individuals on the street with a knife, including 2 law enforcement officers. The administration closed the Hainault tube station after the incident. A critical incident has been declared in Hainault. There are station and road closures in place. The police, ambulance service and fire brigade are responding. 1 male detained. I would urge people not to speculate until details are confirmed or post footage on social media. Ilford North MP West Streeting said in a post on X. I am in contact with the Met Police, Mayor of London and Redbridge Council. I will keep local residents updated as and when I can. The MP added in another post. The Metropolitan Police is actively providing updates to the public, stating, "Police are currently responding to an incident in the Hainault area. Please adhere to the instructions of police officers present. A man has been taken into custody." Deputy Assistant Commissioner Ade Adelikan expressed empathy, acknowledging the harrowing nature of the incident, stating, "This must have been a terrifying ordeal for those involved. I understand the broader community will be experiencing shock and concern." This statement was reported by The Independent. The police have stated that they do not consider the stabbing incident to be terror-related, nor do they perceive any imminent threat to the broader community. "We do not believe there is any ongoing threat to the wider community. We are not seeking additional suspects. This incident does not appear to be terror-related." This incident in London occurred just 2 weeks following a tragic knife attack in Sydney, Australia, where at least 6 individuals lost their lives and 8 others sustained injuries, including a child. The assailant targeted shoppers at the bustling Westfield Bondi Junction shopping centre before being fatally shot by the police. Thank you for joining us on the International News Wrap. Stay tuned for more episodes.